Well, what is happening, everybody, and welcome back to Pucks from the Pine Tree Pod. Thanks for checking this out today. Before we dive in, go hit that like button, hit that subscribe button down below. Absolutely helps the channel out big time. Absolutely appreciate it. Hope everybody's staying cool out there. It has been a hot one here if you are in the Northeast. Us Maine folks, we're just, we're not used to this kind of weather. We wait for it for so long, and then we just do nothing but complain about it when it's here. So it's the way it goes here. But listen, man, someone asked me the other day if my podcast was going to get a little quiet now that hockey was over, and oh man, definitely not the case, right? We have got all sorts of news from around the NHL, from minor league hockey, from college hockey. So we're going to dive into all that today and get you ready for the NHL draft, which will be on Friday night. Do want to start? Big congratulations to the newest members of the Hockey Hall of Fame. That was announced yesterday. A couple of former Bruins in there. Big Z, Zdeno Chara, and Joe Thornton both getting in. Also, Duncan Keith from the Chicago Blackhawks and Alexander McGillney. But you can find the whole list all over the internet. So any place where there's hockey news, you will find it. And certainly great to see some former Bees getting in there. No surprises with both of those players, but very happy to see McGillney get in, get the call. He's been on the cusp of this now for a few years. Definitely worthy. Great to see that happen. Turning to some Boston Bruins news now, of course, this is from a couple of days ago. Mason Lohrei re-signing 2-year deal, 6.4 million, so 3.2 cap hit. Last season, 77 games played for the Bees, 5 goals, 28 assists for 33 points. I'd say a nice piece of business done for both sides here. Good gap contract for Mason. I believe the overall thought here is, depending on the steps Lohrei takes in his development, this could be a big value signing for the Bees, with the understanding that he could actually be a $5 to $6 million player over the next kind of 2 or 3 years. Again, if he develops the way we all want him to, and let's hope he does that. Let's hope he plays well enough to, the next time around he's looking at 6 or 6.5 million. That would be great. Listen, tons of talent here, and we all know he was pushed into a level of service last season that he truly, I don't know if I'd say not ready for it, but it didn't look like he was ready for it. Took his lumps along with gaining some immeasurable experience. Did flash, signs of brilliance, and yes, a lot of mistakes out there. Will that experience translate into improved play? I feel confident it will. I really do. Along with the idea, he's going to be positioned down a little bit in the pairings, not as much on his plate, assuming, guys like McAvoy, guys like Lindholm come back and are healthy and have relative health throughout the season. So, good piece of business done there for the Bruins and for Mason. Of course, the preseason schedule is out. Playing the Capitals, the Rangers, and the Flyers. First game will be Sunday, September 21st from the Garden, 5 p.m. start there. Then they've got games on the 23rd, the 27th, the 29th, October 2nd, and October 4th. So 6 games in total. Going to be fun. Can't wait. Already can't wait. Already can't wait. And of course, going back a couple of days ago, and really today being the 25th, the Bruins put out that little teaser video, really announcing a new look logo, the new sweater release. Um, and yeah, kind of going back to the gold around the outside of the B look. That teaser video did cause a stir, though, talking about maybe a captaincy announcement, but in the pictures we saw today, both Pasta and McAvoy pictured with the and not the C. So, most likely a decision either hasn't been made yet or they're not ready to announce it yet. Of course, Sturm's only been, running the helm here for a short time. I did see some comments this morning that, oh, maybe, no C on either one of the sweaters. Maybe that means Marshy is going to come back and he's going to get the C. It's like, yeah, wishful thinking there, guys. I don't think you're going to see that happen. I wouldn't mind seeing it happen, but I don't think you're going to see that. Some news around the NHL, some trades, some signings today. Just actually a few minutes ago before I came on, being announced that Riley Smith has re-signed with the Vegas Golden Knights. 1-year deal, $2 million cap. It looks like a $1 million signing bonus as part of that. Full no trade clause for him. Of course, he was traded back to Vegas during the year last season. 79 games played, had 13 goals, 40 points. I'm sorry, 13 goals over 40 points, so 27 assists there for Riley. Good fit there in Vegas, good depth guy. Um, no surprise there. And it was earlier today, trade between the Edmonton Oilers and the Vancouver Canucks. Evander Kane heading to the Canucks. 33-year-old left winger is under a $5.125 million contract. He will be a UFA in 2026. Didn't play during the regular year, dealt with that injury, had 21 playoff games, 6 goals, 6 assists for 12 points for him. Going back to the Edmonton Oilers, a 2025 fourth round pick and no salary retention on the contract. So essentially, this working as kind of a salary dump for Edmonton, wanting to clear up some cap space and have some just have some ability to move here come July 1st. And going back a couple days ago, of course, the Philadelphia Flyers picking up Trevor Zegras, the long rumored trade of Trevor Zegras finally happening. Of course, young centerman here, 24 years old, had 54 games played last year for the Ducks, 12 goals, 19 assists for 31 points. Does have a $5.75 million cap hit and will have RFA status going into 2026. Going back to Anaheim, Ryan Poehling, 26-year-old centerman here, 1 year left on his deal, $1.9 million contract there. Played in 68 games for the Flyers, I should say. 12 goals, 19 assists for 31 points. Along with Poehling, a 2025 second round pick and a 2026 fourth round pick heading there to Anaheim as well. So, of course, lots of rumors and news swirling around Vegas right now, talking that they are preparing to sign Mitch Marner. Depending on who you read, some people saying, "Oh, there's been some shadiness going on here, some maybe illegal conversations happening with Mitch." This stuff happens; it gets reported. But Vegas was always going to be high on the list, I think, for Marner. Um, I had Vegas as one of maybe the two or three most serious teams that will make a run at him. Thomas Hurdle's the name being tossed around as the one that might be jettisoned out of town, though, to create the cap space. He does carry an 8.137 $500 million cap hit and is entering year number four, I should say, of eight on that contract. So we'll see where Hurdle may go. There were rumors last couple of days that Carolina might have been in on that. Um, can Vegas and Boston come to some agreement? Would Hurdle look good in the Bees uniform? It's a heavy contract, but he's a good player. But man, it just means July 1st is going to be so much fun. I do have a feeling that Marner gets done quick. And I think at this point, unless all the rumors are completely untrue, looking like he is heading to Vegas. Moving on to some minor league hockey news, and just announced today from the ECHL meetings in Orlando, Florida, Maine Mariners CEO Adam Goldberg receiving the Executive of the Year award. So, big congrats to Adam. Love to see that, sir. Well deserved. Just was an excellent attendance year for the Mariners, and of course, there are a number of items happening off the ice that Adam is playing an absolutely huge role in. Some different things that owner Dexter Payne has talked about here on this channel. So big congrats there to Adam Goldberg. Well deserved. Of course, those meetings are ongoing. So it is a wonder what other news, what other announcements will come out of there. Of course, we're waiting to see, do we have a new CBA agreement with the players and the league? And we haven't had really a lot of signings yet. That the ECHL signing period has opened up, and I think Trois Riviere had one signing that was announced today, but it's been very, very quiet. A little bit surprised. Don't know if it's just teams and players waiting on that CBA to be done, let the ink dry on it, but we will see what happens. And going up to the AHL a couple days ago, the Iowa Wild, the AHL affiliate of the Minnesota Wild, have hired former Anaheim Ducks head coach, former UMaine assistant coach, and Colby College graduate Greg Cronin as their new head coach. Great to see him land another job here. His name really didn't seem to pop up with the various head coaching positions that were out there this spring. I'm sure he's going to do great things there down in Iowa and won't be surprised if he's back in the NHL soon. I still feel he got kind of a raw deal from the Ducks. I really do, given how that team improved from year to year. But here we are. Here's how it works in the NHL now. And it was just a few days ago, the Abbotsford Canucks winning the Calder Cup, their first Calder Cup in their team history, beating the Charlotte Checkers in 6 games. Congrats to them. Great to see that. At least one cup heading back to Canada this season. We will see if some of that good energy and some of that winning can make its way to Vancouver. Certainly a team very much in a transitional stage, to say the least. And a little bit of news coming out of the University of Maine, their hockey program. New assistant coach joining Ben Barr's staff, John O'Connor, joining the staff after spending the last 7 seasons as the director of player personnel at Mount St. Charles Hockey Academy down in Rhode Island. So, welcome in, John. I'm sure he'll be a welcome addition to Coach Barr and his staff there. And moving on, we do have a couple of drafts here to talk about. Of course, it was last night the PWHL had their draft. The Boston Fleet had the number 2 selection and drafted out of Clarkson University defenseman Haley Wynn. So, congrats to Haley. Should be a good addition to the club. And we should start to see a lot more roster movement, some signings, etc., as these teams start to fill out their rosters as we get into the summer. Of course, this is now an 8-team league with Vancouver and Seattle coming on board. And the NHL draft will be kicking off Friday night, starting with round 1 at 7 p.m. Rounds 2 through 7 will follow on Saturday, starting at noon. Our Boston Bruins sitting on the number 7 pick. What in the world do we do with that pick? Are they going to try to move up? Are they going to try to trade that pick for veteran help? Or do they do what I want them to do and just take the best player at number 7, hopefully a center, right? Bees fans, what would you like to see them do with that draft pick? Leave those comments down below. Would love to hear from you on this topic. Sweeney did just hold a presser earlier today where he said, they are comfortable making a selection at number 7, but certainly keeping the door open to see what may come their way through other teams. He also stated they will take the best available player regardless of position. I think, center is certainly a huge need for this organization, and that's where I'm hoping they're going to land on that selection. In this draft, there really are no Connor Bedards or Macklin Celebrini types, here at the top of the draft, but it doesn't mean there's not significant talent. There is a lot of significant talent, I would say, especially in this first round. So let's take a look at some of the potential picks that could be there at number 7 for the Bruins. First on my list is Caleb Desnoyers, 6'2" center out of Moncton of the Q. He played in 56 games last year, 35 goals, 49 assists for 84 points. Did get into 21 playoff games where he had 9 goals, 21 assists for 30 points there as well. Looking at various rankings here, he ranges all the way from number 2 to number 11, depending on who you're listening to. And a number of NHL people are comping him to a Patrice Bergeron-like talent. Now, if that doesn't get you excited, I'm not sure what will. But this is a little excerpt here from Elite Prospects 2025 Draft Guide. Constantly involving teammates in his play, Desnoyers bases his transition game on short passes, give and goes, and delay plays. He connects with teammates in all directions, displaying advanced precision and awareness at 5-on-5, as well as high level of deception on power plays, attacking downhill, challenging defenders, and threading passes across and to the far post. That all sounds lovely to me. Next here on the list, another player to keep an eye on, Jake O'Brien. He's a 6'2" center out of Brantford of the OHL. Got into 66 games last year, 32 goals, 66 assists for 98 points. Did have 11 points in 11 playoff games this year. And again, from Elite Prospects. Displaying close to X-ray vision, O'Brien spots the tiniest seams between skates, under sticks, and above them. He sees through multiple defenders and behind his back, spotting teammates running at the back post and attacking a few steps late. When he can't spot a lane, he creates it, shifting defenders or faking a shot before dropping the puck to teammates. So also sounds quite good. Last on my list here from Sault Ste. Marie of the OHL, 6' center Brady Martin. Played in 57 games, 33 goals, 39 assists, 472 points. 4 points in 5 playoff games for him on the season. Last little comment here from Elite Prospects. When Martin gets ahead of steam, he looks unstoppable. He weaves through the neutral zone, alternating between holding the puck deep in his hip pocket and perfectly timed pushes through sticks and feet. With a seemingly bottomless bag of tricks, he regularly makes the flashy look easy. A destructive force, Martin is a uniquely heavy and frequent hitter. He slams opponents into the wall and throws them to the ice before chasing down the next victim. He battles hard, proactively wins inside position, lands heavy reverse hits, and keeps that energy in the defensive zone. All that sounds just excellent. I think if we end up with any one of those three players, we'll be feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty good. Of course, another name that's out there, center James Higgins. He is out of Boston College. I'm not going to talk too much about him here because I just don't think he's going to slip all the way to 7. He could potentially, I guess he could go number 1. I don't think he goes number 1. I think the defenseman goes number 1, but I could see Higgins in that kind of 3-4 range. I don't think he'll be there at 7. But man, if he does, that's going to give Sweeney something to think about. All these players are excellent prospects, and I am personally hoping that the Desnoyers is the one available at number 7 and the one that we will take. But we shall see. So, guys, that's what we have for you today. A lot of news out there, but thank you so much for watching and listening. If you do like what you're hearing, please don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button down below. And until next time, everybody, be kind, show love, and God bless.